we'll try and live up to that last presentation because that was great. We're the founders of CPB, which is not very creatively named, but it's just cut plate bowl. So I'm going to give a bit of background as to how we came up with our idea for the product. So initially we all kind of sat down as a group of 4 and just started brainstorming ideas about innovative products we could make.
At the university we were advised by a guest speaker that it's good to find a gap in the market and then develop on that.
So this is one thing we tried to really use when we were coming up with our product. And so in the end, we ended up agreeing on something that would kind of help us save space when you're out doing activities and things. And our main issue we found is that we struggle to find a nice way to eat our food. Obviously, if you're doing sports and stuff, you need to eat well. And you're not going to have clean hands and everything, so you need a nice way to be able to eat. So that eventually led on to us developing the cut plate bowl. It's just one kind of piece of material that can function as all 3. And yeah, so that's how we moved on to that. So this is just a brief outline of our project plan. It's got some of the dates, so we were brainstorming. We assigned our all individual tasks. We thought it'd be better to split off into separate sections to work more efficiently. So that didn't really take too long. And then Victory looked at research. Jake and I kind of looked at rough designs and he finalised it. And Reese has been looking about how we can improve. And also he's been looking at how we worked with the university and stuff, which he'll show you now.
Okay, yeah, so over the last couple of months, we were given the opportunity to speak to a range of entrepreneurs about their journey and the obstacles that they had to overcome to see their product become successful. So as a group, we analysed some of those problems and we worked to develop our own design so that we could overcome some of those issues if they did occur. Yeah, so here are 2 guest speakers that I've chosen. I've chosen these 2 in particular because I feel like the lessons we learned most relate to our own product. So first we have Greg. He is the co-founder of Convivo, the food lockers, which he made here at Warwick University. And I feel like the main lesson we learnt from him was that you don't need a brand new idea. Obviously there are other companies out there that offer the same services. So we found that if we could just exploit a gap in the market and maybe offer something that a competitor didn't, that we could still make our product successful. And second we have Hugh. He came up with the plastic trombone and trumpet to engage people of all ages into music. I think the main lesson we learnt there, particularly for our own design, was to use the correct materials and to use them sparingly so that we can get our product to be as sustainable as possible and environmentally friendly.
Okay, well, to begin with, we started looking at how to think how we were going to make the design. And initially here, we just wanted a centre square and then 4 pieces of material that could just fold up into different shapes. But even when trying it with 8 sides as well, we found that just purely due to the angles, they would overlap or they wouldn't fit into each other at all, so they wouldn't be watertight and we couldn't drink from them or anything like that. So eventually we developed this, which we did have to take them away from each other. We have a cup here that can go into one, which can go into the bowl, and then these clips here can clip into one another as a stand, and then we have these bits, so if you did want to place it down, you don't get contamination. And here we were either going to make this metallic or a ceramic plate, so we could use heating from like a gas fire when camping.
So then for the actual materials, we started with plastic, and it would be good because it's cheap. You can mould it into the stuff as well. It's not too much to actually go around with, but then you actually want to heat it and stuff, it will then deform quite quickly. So it's not really practical for actually use when you want to go do something, or if you want to use gas canister like we wanted to. But then I thought to use metal instead. That's quite heavy. It's also, if you want to produce a lot of clips by a big production, it will cost quite a lot. So it's not really practical on a startup kind of term in the first place. It'll take quite a lot of time to actually design. And then after that, we thought we could use silicone, which could then actually just be moulded into one, which is also squashable for the cup and the bowl. And then a ceramic base, which is heat-proof. So then if you actually want to go to, like, say for DOV or something like I do as well, for actual gas canisters, it won't actually burn or deform. It's quite cheap. It won't take too much to actually manufacture, and we're pretty yeah, it'll be pretty good to actually make for everything else as well.
Okay, so this is just a brief outline of who did what in the team. So I kind of had the role of project manager. I didn't really have a particular area to look at, so I kind of dipped in and out, helped Jake with the design sometimes and the research, looking at materials like Vic did. Jake, it was actually his idea initially, so we left him in charge of the design because he kind of had the idea in his head of what he wanted. Victory's just looked at all the materials, as he said, and yeah, Reese was just summarising everything, all the great help we got here at the university.
Okay, yeah, so making the product commercially viable, obviously there's a lot of steps you can take at this point, but I thought the best option for us was looking at the Ignite package on the incubation hub on the Warwick Science Park website. I feel like as it provides you with a mentor, it's a good start to push your product and, as it says here, help develop with a proper action plan, give you access to funding, and finding a market space that's best for us. As well as that, it continues in the long run, so not only if your product is successful, you can get the best out of it again, like furthermore, because in the future it looks to boost your revenue in the long run for your company.
So what we learned overall is kind of just how to build our own products in the first place, how to actually kind of have a startup, and that if you want to make a product, it doesn't really matter what it actually is. As long as you actually try to develop it, it can work out if you keep going with it in the first place. And that's really going well.